So very, very welcome, everybody. So happy to be with you guys today. It's been a little while since we've done a webinar, like several days. I think we did one Saturday morning, so it's been a little while. But I always enjoy trading webinars, and I love talking about this stuff with everybody. And it's just a good thing, just a real good thing. Plus, it's always a pleasure to see some names and faces that I don't get to see on a regular basis from around the world. We have quite an extensive trading community and a lot of people that watch this and participate in these, and it's just a real nice time, folks. Real nice time. So that's what I want to kind of make sure to keep an eye on here, is just always connect with you guys and have an opportunity to chat about all things trading. So happy to be with everybody today. Very happy, very happy. Type us over a little where everybody's from. I see Eric and Greg, Patty, Ryan, Stan, Steve. Hello, hello. TP, Wade, welcome. I think some people may not. Oh no, I think everyone should have audio. Just shoot over a quick where everyone's from. It's always nice to hear those that are on with us where people are joining from. And so whether you're in Facebook, type it into Facebook, type it into Zoom here, whatever you want. Let me know where everyone's coming from and joining us from. Wade, Los Angeles. Good man. Good man. I'm a California guy myself. Hey, Ryan from Irvine. Good to see you, my man. Glad you made it in with us. And of course, Mark from Down Under. Yes, that's right. That's right. Stan from clear 85-degree Florida. Good. Oh, lucky. Rub it in, Stan. Rub it in. No, that's great. That's great. Florida's a nice spot. So good. Gold Coast, Australia for Matthew. That's cool. And Jim from Eureka. Steve from New Jersey. Welcome, my friend. Glad to have you with us. Cool, guys. Yeah, just keep it coming in. I always love to know where everyone's from and where you guys are joining us from and how it's all going and all of that. So that's always good. Okay, guys, today we are going to talk a little bit about David from Ogden, Utah. I'm not too far from you. I mean, kind of far, but not too far. Cool, man. That's excellent. Great. Glad to have you, David. Okay, so let's dive into some of this stuff. Let's talk a little bit about some of the things that we're going to cover today specifically, or as us California folks say, specifically, we're going to talk about Forex Trading Goals. And I want to talk about this because this is something that has come up a lot. Now, I'm not going to go on and on about trading goals and how to set them and how to keep your mind your state of mind good and how to talk yourself into stuff. That's not what this webinar is going to be about. If you saw the email, it's going to be a bit of a different take on trading goals and what it means, what kind of trading goals we should have even. But I do want to spend some time, guys, making sure that we look at a couple of charts, look at a few favorite trades that are coming up, some of that stuff, because I think we've got some really great opportunities. So I'm excited to talk to you guys about all of that. So today we're going to talk about trading goals and how this whole thing is supposed to work. I want to talk to you about how not to get stuck in the expectation trap. Trading can be a massive expectation trap, and I don't want you guys to get stuck in that. It's no fun. Getting stuck in anything is never any fun, but I want to make sure that we kind of understand, what we should be looking at. Oftentimes, now guys, I don't claim to have any excessive information that you don't have, right? I've been doing this for a long time, and like anybody that's been doing something specific for a long time, you start to learn what works and what doesn't work. And on top of that, I want to give you guys an opportunity to have permission to think or act a certain way, because I think a lot of the things we're going to talk about today are going to be things that you guys have thought to yourself. Maybe David out there in Ogden has thought to himself, that's something that I think I should be doing, but maybe I didn't think it was the right thing to do, and so I didn't pursue it, right? Or maybe Steve in New Jersey's thinking, this guy's crazy, right? What's this Jared guy talking about? Or right? But I want to give you guys permission to do what I'm going to talk about, because sometimes that's what we need, right? Sometimes we need someone to say, yeah, you're not crazy. In fact, what you're thinking is exactly right on track. So we're going to go over some of that stuff today, and I think it should be really good. So just real quick, as always, here's a picture of me and the family. My assistant was telling me that she said, you should show yourself on video. I should have video going. And the thing is, if I haven't been through hair and makeup first, you guys don't want video going. So there's a picture of me and the family. with the family dog. Actually, it's a dog picture, and we were able to join him. He was nice enough to let us in. That's Tank. Um, and then, of course, I'm Jared Johnson. I'm happy to be with you guys. I am the founder of Day Traders FX. I've been trading for 15 to 35 years. I'm not sure which one it is. But for a long time, I've been trading, consulting, training, all this stuff for a long time. And it's been a really, really good time. I really enjoyed it. So that's a little bit of what we're looking at here. So we're gonna, as I said, we're going to talk about goals and kind of the different take that we should have with trading goals. Number one, this is kind of what we're taught, right? You know, have big dreams. Let's set our goals. Let's take action. Let's stay on track. Let's go for it, right? That's what we hear a lot. And in fact, there's probably 900,000 million books on goal setting and goal achieving and all this stuff. And we know what the statistics are, right? Everybody sets a bunch of goals. You know, New Year's resolutions, right? Goals on January 1st, and we say, all right, guys, here is what we're going to do. And then by January, like 3rd, we've done none of them and we forgot about it. And we're like going through like the post-Christmas blues, right? And then we forget about all of our goals. So that's where I'm a big believer in goals, by the way. I think that they're important. I think that we need to have a course that our mind is on, but I think we need the right goals for the right situations. So we're going to talk a little bit about what those are. But let's talk for a moment. Why do we like to trade? Why do we trade? Here's a few thoughts that I had, and I'd be curious to hear yours. David, Steve, Jim, Matthew, Stan, Mark, Patty, Ryan, Wade. Why do you guys trade? I'd love to hear it. Think about it for a second, but you know, type it into the chat. Type, you know, anybody that's on Facebook, type into the chat there. Why do you like trading? Why did you get involved in trading? Why do you stay involved in trading? Why do we do it? Yeah, to make money. That's exactly right, Ron. Eric, yep, financial freedom, absolutely. Flexibility, yeah, absolutely. You guys kind of sound like you're stealing mine, or maybe I stole yours. I don't know, but yeah, exactly. Exciting, fun, makes money, yeah, retirement money, absolutely, guys. So, you know, I found that for me, trading gave me all of these things right here, right? Freedom, as you guys know, yeah, time freedom, right? Yeah, retirement income, all these are all super, super great. You know, for those that have attended my webinars or those that are in my trade group, you guys know that, Patty, endorphin rush. Yeah, that's right. It can be a rush. You guys know that those that are in my groups and so on. There we go. Hold on here. Hold on. There we are. You guys know that, you know, I do a lot of these things from a lot of different places, right? I'm always trading from somewhere. I'm always somewhere doing something, and it's, you know, and it's fun and crazy, but I have this crazy amount of flexibility, right? And the flexibility is what we want. We want flexibility. We want to be able to not have to report to anybody to do anything, any of that stuff. From time to time, I find myself in a position where somebody needs to tell me what to do, and I just have a heck of a time with it. I just need the freedom and flexibility not to be working on somebody else's schedule constantly. I create my own schedule. I travel the world. I had been trading for several years by the time I finally realized that I was going to trade full time, which seems a little strange. I don't pick stuff up super quick sometimes. I've been trading successfully for several years, and I remember sitting on a beach in Thailand thinking to myself, oh yeah, I could probably do this for the rest of my life. You know, as I was working for my computer in Thailand on a beach, and this was, 10 years ago. And I remember thinking to myself, wow, why didn't I, I was always kind of doing trading as, on the way to the next thing. And then I just realized that I have so much of all of these things here. Financially, it's treated me very well. The flexibility is awesome. Freedom's awesome. And it's just awesome on its own. I really do enjoy trading. I'll tell you the one awkward thing though, is people, I'll sit down next to somebody, I'll meet somebody new and they'll say, what about these markets? And I can't help myself, right? I talk about trading all day, every day to everybody. And so when somebody gives me kind of a random comment like that, I have to give them, I don't even think about it. It just comes out this whole, whatever we've been talking about for the day, right? Oh yeah, the volatility's up, and I've been wondering why yields are going to keep pushing things, or if they're going to keep, and people instantly get this like glassy look on their face, and inside of my head, I mean to say, yeah, they're crazy, aren't they? And then kind of move on to talking about the weather or baseball or whatever, but I love talking about trading, and I'll talk to anybody about it that'll listen. And it's awesome. So trading is just good all the way around, and it has so many benefits that are just so great for us. So those are some of the reasons I like, and I love to hear that you guys are open for, some of the same things. Why in the world do I have this slide up? That is a question. What am I thinking? Well, first of all, I thought showing some, pictures of naked people might be good. No, that's not it. I have this slide because as traders, we're almost going back to the Stone Age a little bit, and we almost have to go back to the Stone Age a little bit. And that's what's interesting about trading. It's, we use the newest, latest, greatest technology and thought process and so on, but when it comes back to our action, we've kind of got to go old school on it. We've kind of got to go back to that hunter-gatherer kind of situation, right? Where where we come from being monkey man to man sitting at the computer looking like a monkey, and I'll tell you why as we go. And this is the whole entire point of the webinar. Hi, Gerardo. Welcome. Good to see you with us. So trading is like this, especially in comparison to this, right? We live, obviously I'm in the United States of America. A lot of you are not in the US, but just think of any of your own countries, right? What products are coming from what places? California, we produce Apple in California, and Stan, Florida, you guys made Hooters. Thank you for that, by the way. And, everybody has, every state's come up with some big, massive company, right? And what are these companies run on? And what are we all taught to believe, right? I'll be honest, when I talk to people, is it really from Clearwater? There you go. Home base. Right there from home base. Oh, that's great. That is great. So when I talk to people about what they do for work, everyone asks me what I do for work. And in fact, I was talking to a group of people the other day, and I said, for my job, and I'm not going to tell you what my job is, I have to follow some very specific rules. And everyone was like, well, what's your job? Tell us what your job is. And so, finally I said, well, my job's trading, right? And they go, oh man, being self-employed and trading, that's gotta be crazy. And they always say, I've talked to my boss about that. And when I hear the word my boss, I think, wow, and there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with having a boss, but like, I've never had to say that. I've never had to say my boss has got to have me at work tomorrow. I mean, I do have a boss because I'm married, but like, somebody that's got financial hold over me. Well, bad example again, but I don't have a work boss. I don't have to be at an office. I don't have to do any of that stuff. And that's awesome. But we live in a world where the majority of people do, right? Where these big companies like Taco John's, whoever Taco John's is, right? Starbucks, Nike, Albertsons, Apple, all these big companies, they thrive on something very specific, right? In the corporate world that we all live in, whether you participate in it or not, we're dealing with deadlines. We're dealing with results. On top of that, we're dealing with politics. We've got to keep the numbers going in the right direction. TPS reports, if anybody gets that reference from what movie it is, high five to you. I don't know if a TPS report's real. But anyway, that's what corporate America and the corporate world operates on. That's how these big companies, Google, for example, has like, I don't even know what, like 100,000 employees or something, right? A lot of these companies have 100, 200,000 employees. I mean, can you imagine that? So to be able to manage that whole situation, you've got to live by this kind of stuff. And that is what is heavily ingrained into our brains forever, right? That we've got to produce results daily, that we've got to be doing something constantly, that we've got to be busy, we've got to be producing and creating and making and doing all this kind of stuff, right? And that's just the natural mindset. That's just how we think. And that's very normal because that is the world that we live in. Trading, on the other hand, is very, very, very different, right? It's super different, in fact. Who is familiar with the 80-20 rule? Everyone, I mean, this slide kind of explains it, but is everybody familiar with the 80-20 rule? Any of our Facebook people or in the other webinar here? What's the 80-20 rule? It is something. It's something. Like, I think it means 80% of the time my kids aren't going to go to bed on time and 20% of the time they will. Something like that. I think it's something like that. I think that's kind of how it goes. So the 80-20 rule probably applies to trading. I mean, I don't know. I think it applies to everything pretty equally, but it is dead on with trading, right? The 80-20 rule is so serious with trading. And basically it means that 20% of our effort is going to produce 80% of the results, right? It's going to produce 80% of our results. So that means 80% of the time we're doing something that's ultimately not going to matter too much. So our goal is, that other 80% of the time, to do something that will matter and that will help improve our 20% of our efforts that create 80% of our results, right? So that's what we really want to do. And trading is absolutely that, right? I hear people tell me all the time, they say, yes, exactly, Gerardo. Yes, absolutely. So I hear people say all the time, as a trader, can you make at least $100 a day? Can you make, 20 pips a day? Can you make $500 a week or $500 a day or whatever, right? I get asked that all the time. And I always tell people, absolutely. On average, you absolutely can. Now, will I make $100 tomorrow or 20 pips or 5 pips or $500 or whatever? I have absolutely no idea. And that's not how I think anymore. I've been trading for so long that that's not even a portion of my thought process any longer. What I want to do is I want to be ready so that when the market moves, instead of making $100 a day or $500 a day, when the market is moving, I'm going to make $10,000 a day, right? When things are setting up, I'm going to make $10,000 or $20,000 a day or per trade, and I might make 2 or 3 or 4 of those trades, and I might make $50,000 in a day when things are moving. When things are not moving, I'm not going to make anything. But then when we take that 20% of movement and action and activity that we have in the market, then yes, it turns out to be some average amount every day, right? But we can absolutely never count on that on a daily basis. Now, there are some scalpers and there are some short-term traders that have figured out some good systems that work for them. And yes, they can pull out a couple of pips every day and it can be some amount of money. That's great. But in general, what we're talking about here is we're talking about a market that does what it wants when it wants. And what our job is to do is hurry up and wait. That's what we've got to do. We've got to hurry up and wait, because we cannot, one of my favorite sayings is you cannot push a rope. You can't, you have to wait till it pulls and you hold on, right? And that's exactly how trading is. We cannot force something to happen that's not happening. Now, we can definitely make an attempt at forcing something, but trust me, I talk to traders all day, every day, and I talk to people that force things and push things and push for results and end up getting in a lot of trouble, right? End up getting a lot of bad results that they don't want, a lot of losses, a lot of messy stuff, and that's what we do not want. So the 80-20 rule it applies so heavily to trading, so heavily to trading. So what I want to tell you is, instead of having this goal of I've got to make 50 pips a day or 20 pips a day or $100 a day because I've got to pay my mortgage, I got to do all this stuff, you can make that amount. If your goal is to make 100 pips in a week, or 200 pips a week, or 500 pips a week, and you break that down and you say, okay, if I want to make 500 pips a week, I got to make 100 pips a day because there's 5 trading days in every week. Well, you're not going to make 100 pips a day. It's just not going to happen. But you can still make your 500 pips in a week, and it could all happen in one day, right? You could be sitting in trades for 4 days, nothing happens, and on day number 5, all these trades run 100 pips, and you make your 500 pips, right? We cannot force the market to do something with our will, with our schedule. Again, with that mentality that we have coming from corporate America, we think to ourselves, I've got to produce results at the end of the month, at the end of the week, at my weekly meeting, my monthly meeting, my quarterly meetings. I need to be able to show results, and I need to be able to show all that. Yes, true. And we think by pounding the pavement, pounding sales, pounding whatever efforts we're doing every day that we're going to produce results. And in corporate America, that does work. In trading, that does not work. We have got to be in a position so that we are ready for the market to give us something good. We have to be there, right? 20% of the time, the market is going to give us 80% of our profits. That is 100% true. So the other 80% of the time, the problem is we don't know when the other 80% is. We don't know when that 20% is. And that 20% is speckled, right? We might have a month where we make 2,000 pips. And then we have 3 months where we make 200 pips, right? And we just don't know when that's going to happen. It's all speckled out there. And so what we have to do is show up every day, be prepared, and be ready to take action. So in trading, what goals should we have, right? If we don't want to have a goal of trading and making 20 pips a day or whatever amount, what goals should we have in trading? And I'll tell you my thoughts on this, and I would be curious to hear your guys's as well. But the goals I think we should have in trading are, while we are looking at the charts, even if you can only look at the charts for an hour a day or a half hour a day or 15 minutes a day or whatever it turns out to be, spend a little bit of time looking at the charts, looking for your trades. If they're not there, they're not there. And spend the rest of your time learning your trade, right? Studying the markets, studying setups, studying details. Some of my favorite stuff to do is, better understanding how I can improve my own discipline, how I can be a better trader. Discipline in trading is so very important, right? It's so important because in trading, if we don't have discipline, then we can make good trades, but we cannot stop making bad trades. And we've got to learn how to stop making bad trades. And that's part of discipline. It's part of saying, I will consciously and willingly skip this decent trade because it doesn't meet my criteria enough. And I need to have something that really meets my criteria for me to want to take this trade, right? And so study discipline, study the markets. One thing on studying the markets, I love looking at correlations, right? What are all of the elements that are in play? Study this, guys. Look, just resources like this crazy website I found called Google. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. Okay, obviously that's a little bit of sarcasm. Google is a great resource, right? Start looking at Investopedia. There's so many great sites out there. Go back to a time where maybe the US dollar was going nuts. It was going so strong, or it was going so weak, and see what you can do to identify all the elements that were in play when we've seen major US dollar weakness or major US dollar strength. Try to do the same thing with the Swiss franc, the Japanese yen, the Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar. Try to find, when were these things making the biggest runs and when were they the strongest, and what was the snapshot of the global economy at the time? What was causing this movement? And you have to do a lot of studying just to find out what questions to ask, and then you can find the answers to those questions. But spend time doing that. That's going to help you and hone your skill and really make you a master trader. As I said, discipline's so very important. Learn to understand the risk. Learn to understand how to line up these probabilities, right? When do my trades work the best? Spend time studying your account history. Okay, my last 20 trades, 15 of them were winners, or 10 of them were winners, or 5 of them were winners. What were things that were happening when I took those winning trades versus what were things that were happening when I took those losing trades? What are the probabilities? What are the things that are lining up very nicely for you when you are, when you're making winning trades? What are the things that are happening when you're making losing trades? Just all in all, learn all things trading related. Just dig in there. But one of my favorite ones is really correlated markets. Those that are in my trade group know that if I'm watching a dollar movement, I'm looking at the dollar index. I'm looking at the VIX. I'm looking at yields. I'm looking at bonds. I'm looking at the stock market, because all these things are going to tell me what might be in the works for the US dollar, what might be in the works for the Japanese yen, the Swiss franc, all of that stuff. Super, super important. So this is something that we should be doing that 80% of the time, when the 20% of our trading is, we're waiting for it to happen, right? So 80% of the time we need to be digging into this stuff. We need to be learning about it. We need to be honing our skills on all of these elements. And we need to stop trying to put some sort of expectation on ourselves that we're going to be able to force a market to do something ever, really, ever. We're just waiting. We're just waiting. We're just looking to say, where are things? How, what's the setup? We need to have a trade plan. We need to learn what we should be doing every time we take a trade. That's something major that we do in my live trading group, is we really talk about what is happening, why we're taking trades, why we're getting in, where we're getting in. That's crucial and crucial. Okay, before we go to the charts, and I want to talk about maybe one or two of my favorite trades that I think are setting up and looking very interesting. I want to look at some of that stuff, but what do you guys think? How does everybody feel about that? Does anybody have any questions? Anybody have any comments? Type it in our Facebook friends and our regular webinar friends here. Do you guys have thoughts about that? Does anybody have any questions? What do you guys think? I want to put everything that we just talked about into practice on a couple of charts. But before I move on, I want to make sure to give everybody plenty of opportunity to just, throw in some questions, throw in some comments. Is there anybody out there with a question, a comment, a thought about what we have discussed so far? I asked that while I wet my whistle. A little drink of water over here. Okay, if everybody feels pretty good about that, then let's move on to the charts. Yeah, everyone's good. Everyone's good. Okay, I don't want to miss anybody's questions or comments. Yes, boy, learning the charts is good, Jim. That's for sure. That is for sure. Okay, guys. For those of you that are unfamiliar with the kind of trading that I do, I'm not going to go through my whole strategy, but I'm going to tell you one thing that I think is very important. One thing that I think is a pretty big deal when it comes to trading anything, right? What do we want to do when we're trading? What's our safest bet? People talk to me about trading trends, trend trading and reversal trading, and what it is and what the difference is and so on. It's all garbage. What matters is not that anyone's comments are garbage, but whether we're trading the trend or whether we're trading against the trend or whatever it is we're trading, what we want to do is we want to trade at decision points. That's it. It's quite literally that simple. So we want to be trading when the market has to make a decision whether to go up or down. Here's a good example. I like this New Zealand CAD right here. I'm actually in a trade on New Zealand CAD. And I think that this is a great chart and a great opportunity to see some stuff here. New Zealand CAD is sitting at a support level that takes us back to 2013. Here's 2013, August of 2013. So we're talking a solid 6 years. So we've got a solid 6 years on this one. Let's see. We're having some audio issues, and that's all right. Hoffies. I'll type over here real quick. There we go. So whenever we're trading something, if we can, what I want to do as much as possible is I want to do this, right? I want to stay out of kind of this area that I have highlighted, right? It seems a little crazy, but this is kind of where I want to stay out of. I want to be trading. I want to be trading in these upper areas. I want to find these long-term areas to trade around, like these highs over here on New Zealand CAD, taking us back 6 or 7 years. I want to find these long-term low levels that are taking us back a big chunk. And I want to be trading around those. When in doubt, trade around long-term support, long-term resistance. That's the thing to do, right? Because down here, this is where the market's got to make a decision. It's got to do something, right? It's either going to break this big support, at which time we can take a short position, we can sell this thing, we can take it down, and it's awesome. Or we look for opportunities for this to give us some kind of confirmation that it's headed higher, and we trade off that and we put our stops below this big long-term support area. So that's what we've got to be doing. We've got to be trading around these long-term levels and saying to ourselves, okay, here's where we're going to find what the market's going to do. So if we're getting in down here, some might say, oh, you're trading a reversal. You're not a trend trader. No, what I am is I'm starting at the new point of a trend, right? This hits this low in October 2018, and it tops out over here in March, right? So this thing goes up for 5 months, right? That's a 5-month uptrend. And then we get a double bottom, and this comes back down here, and it runs from March down into October, right? So there's another 4 or 5 months, right? So I'm just looking. Nobody can find tops and bottoms perfectly, and I don't even ever attempt to find tops and bottoms, but I like to trade around these long-term levels, and I like to look for reasons to trade higher or reasons to trade a breakout and trade this lower. And that's what I try to do on everything. And so going to this right here, and where I mentioned I want to talk about some of the, some of the strategies and some of the things I'm looking for. This thing has been running down since April 1st. It double topped here in November of last year. And then it's been coming down, just in this most recent run since March, about March. Mid-March, this started dropping from 92, 50, 60 area all the way down here to 82, right? It's down 1,000 pips. Well, I look at this and I say, okay, let's trade this thing. Let's see if there's opportunities. And I think there's going to be a good opportunity to trade this higher, right? As we trade off our 6-year levels. But what can we look at here? If I'm just starting to trade this up and this thing starts to break down below my levels, yeah, I can take a quick loss and I can be out of this thing pretty quickly. But I want to give it some room. I want to give it some room to wiggle around this area. And so as I'm sitting here waiting for this, several months trend that has been going down, it's been going down for quite a few months here. It's going to take some time to turn around. So I'm going to get into a trade as we hit these low levels. And there's going to be a few bucks to be made here and there, but it's going to take a little while before we start getting this happening again, right? It can happen in a week or two, and it can happen in a month or two. And so I might be sitting in this trade for a week or a month waiting for this to turn higher. Now, again, this is the case. I'm in this trade already. And it might take a long time, and it might be a very short, quick run to get up to those highs again. I don't know. But I know what I need to do while this is happening. I know that I have been studying my trade and my techniques and honing my skills so that when it gets down here, I can have the probabilities lined up as best as possible and get it there. I don't know when this is going to get there. I don't know if it's going to get here, right? I don't know if this is going to stop right here like it did back with some of these levels. Whoops, there we go. Look at these levels. So these guys, this nice little 87, 86 area held for a little bit and broke. So I don't know. Is this a trading opportunity, or is it breaking, or is this the trading opportunity? So I have to wait, and I have to let the market give me good reasons to get into this trade. I have to know what other things that I look at, which I talk about extensively in my trade groups and so on, but I've got to know what I need to be looking for so that when this happens. So this is on my watch list, and this trade, actually, we took a lot of short positions and we traded this thing down. But I would say that maybe we got 50% of this downward movement. So I'm going to have to wait a while. I got some of the trade, I missed some of the trade, and now it's down here, and I'm ready to jump into this and start taking this back up again. Currencies just move up and down, just like stocks and everything else. Currencies get a little more sideways, which gives us a lot more opportunity, which is great. But it does come with the absolute requirement of patience. We cannot force the market to go higher. We can't force it to go lower. This could just come to this little area here and do this, right? And maybe it does, and that's possible. But when we look at this kind of stuff, we want to make sure that we understand the mentality that we need to have. The market doesn't care that you need to pay your mortgage. The market doesn't care that you've been sitting here for 3 days and haven't taken a trade. It doesn't care. Sadly, it doesn't care. It's a really brutal market. But it's not brutal. It's brutally honest. And it says, I will move when I move, and our responsibility is to be there when that happens. So when I look at all this stuff right here, I think to myself, okay, so my trading goals should be learn what I should do and follow that along. But really, what my trading goals should be is once I've honed my skill and I feel very confident about what I'm doing, the goal should be to take every trade that comes. Somebody, Paul, who's kind of been in and out of the group a couple of times with us, a great guy, love Paul, he's awesome. And so all of that being the case, he made a great comment in the Facebook group, and he said, what do you guys think? Do you guys, if you hit your 5% profit on your account or 10% profit on your account or whatever your goal is, do you stop trading for the week or for the month? And I say, absolutely no, because we don't know when the market's going to move again. So that's why we go back to this kind of hunter-gatherer situation, which is, if we were a caveman, 100,000 years ago, we're not going to say, I ate really well yesterday, so I'm not going to go look for food today. We're going to look for food every chance we get. In trading, we're looking for good opportunities every chance we get. Absolutely good opportunities every chance we get. So that's what I want to impart to you guys, right? Your goal should be to take every good trade that comes, because we're going to get a week where we have 20 great trades, and we're going to get a week where we have 0 great trades. And so we have to take everything we can. We got to make hay while the sun's shining, as they say, right? So our goals should be to perfect our technique, but to be prepared for every opportunity that we can take a trade, right? 1 month, we're going to make $1. The next month, we might make $25,000, right? That's what we've got to be looking for and doing. Okay, so that's kind of this chart. That's some of this stuff right here. I personally think we're going to have some fantastic opportunities to kind of share, there's my methodology, and then I want to share some trades with you guys that I think are going to be interesting. I am heavily focused on New Zealand pairs. I think New Zealand pairs are going to give us so much in the way of good opportunities. I want to trade New Zealand strength for the next 6 months if it's possible. But I'm waiting for confirmation. I'm waiting for things to happen. I've got a New Zealand strength here on this New Zealand CAD. I think these guys, anytime, as you can see, New Zealand CAD hit this level in 2009. It didn't hit the level again until 2015. That's September. So September 2009, September 2015. That's a good little chunk later, right? We've got, excuse me, why did I put 2013? This takes us all the way, oh yeah, never mind. Sorry. I'm looking at the wrong numbers. Hits in 2013, hits in 2015. That's 2 years in between. Here's our 2015 hit. Doesn't hit again until 2018. That's another 3 years. Now, yes, we've got opportunities up here, but these currencies don't hit major, massive levels every day or every week. But when they do, we need to be ready to attack. And New Zealand pairs are in a situation where we need to be ready to attack. And that's what I think is awesome. New Zealand CAD, I want to be long New Zealand CAD as long as it can stay above about 8,200. Anything below 8,200, we're probably headed into the 8,000, which is a fine level. No judgment there. And that's a really great little spot right there. So there might be some opportunities to short it down into that 8,000. But these are our areas to watch. I think we have this kind of a thing happening quite a bit. Here's our New Zealand Swiss. Anytime we can find something that's been really pounding on a level, New Zealand Swiss has only been pounding on this level here for a couple of months, but it's also looking at some pretty interesting, bigger, longer-term levels as we go over into some of these other support zones. Now, New Zealand Swiss, not my favorite, but I do like to trade it when it sets up nicely. But again, it's coming down to the very lower portions of what this thing does decade in and decade out. We're looking back all the way back here to 2008. This thing bounces between the 8,000 level and between about the 6,000 level. And we're in the low 6,000s right now. And this could go down into the high 5,000s, of course. But that's all this thing does. It bounces in about a 2,300 pip channel. So when we're at the low part of this channel, we need to be looking for opportunities to trade this back up, right? New Zealand yen, same kind of situation. We push through a big major support over here, but it's kind of stalled out before the next big level. We've got another big level here that takes us back 10 and 12 and 13 years. So I want to be looking for opportunities to trade something back up that's been coming down for years. Look at our New Zealand dollar. Don't tell me this isn't just a fantastic looking chart. Yes, we see quite a bit of weakness here, but look at this thing. Nice falling wedge. Again, this takes us back to 10-year support. Here is 2009, 2015, 2019. This thing every couple of years hits this major level in the low 6,000s, and we're right there. What should we be looking to do? Trade this up. Trade this up. So I think these are going to be some really fantastic opportunities. I absolutely do not like trading the Euro New Zealand, but it's looking so good that I think I might have to. Look at this big long-term level over here, 2015. And where does that take us all the way over to? It takes us all the way to 2011, 2010. There's some major stuff going on over here, right? So if I take this level and I just bring this Euro New Zealand, come here. So I take this level and I bring it over like that. That's telling me all the way back to 2011, this thing gets kind of stuck in the upper 170s, around 180. So what can I be looking to do right here? I can be looking for this kind of stuff. I can be looking for smaller, more precise patterns. What do we have right here? We've got a pretty nice little triple top here that takes us back, just about a year. Triple topped up here. We have all these New Zealand pairs that are hitting kind of these significant highs or lows. I want to be trading off of this. I want to be taking this down and trading it into those lower levels. So the New Zealand has just been getting killed. The New Zealand dollar has been getting killed. And I think that we're going to have some really fantastic opportunities to trade the New Zealand dollar over the next several months. So there's going to be more on that, but that's kind of where I want to take things. Is I want to use these trading goals. I want to use the stuff that we've talked about and put it into practice with some of these great setups. Be patient, learn our craft, learn our trade, study the markets to death, and be ready for some of these opportunities. And right now, I think everything New Zealand is a good opportunity. I think there's fantastic, amazing opportunities on all these New Zealand pairs. So for all of you guys that want to learn a little bit more about what I do on a day-to-day basis and what I do in my trade group, submit your information to my application form. Just go daytradersfx.com/application. Looks just like this. Or you can just go to my website and click on Learn More in the upper right-hand corner. And what this will do for you is give you the opportunity to have a quick phone call with me. I love to talk to people about trading. I love to talk to people about my trade groups. I love to talk to people about what I do on a daily basis. And I love to hear what you guys are doing as well. So go to this site, daytradersfx.com. Again, there we go. Again, if you just go to the regular site, you can just click on Learn More right there. And that'll take you here. You just put in your name, email address, phone number, and we'll give you a call, and we'll get a call set up to talk a little bit more about what we do and how we do it and so on. So this is a great opportunity to really put your trading skills to work, learn how to take advantage of the things that we talked about, right, in trading, which, the whole reason that we trade, so that we can have that freedom and that flexibility and that financial gain and just all the awesomeness that comes with trading. So come check us out, submit your information. Let's see how all this works and all this comes together. We'll see if I am going strong with these New Zealand pairs in a couple of days and a couple of weeks. I'm already in a few of them, and I plan on getting into more. This is I would say, a fairly time-sensitive situation because we have several currency pairs that are at pretty historic levels. And so these historic levels are a big deal. So go to that, daytradersfx.com, and click on Learn More in the upper right corner, and let's get you going And I would hate for you guys to miss this opportunity that we have on all these currency pairs. It's going to be really awesome to see everything happen there. So check us out on the website. I'd love to get a phone call set up with you and go from there. Mark, indicators I find most useful. I use the moving average and pivot points. Those are the only two indicators that I use, and I think they are awesome. Pivot points and a 200 exponential moving average. So that's a little bit of what I do there. Thanks, guys. Thanks for being on with us today. That's all I've got for you at the moment. Head over to the website. Let's get a phone call scheduled. It's a limited time offer. And I want to talk to you about trading, and I want to talk to you more in detail about what I do and how I do it. So I'd love to get in touch with you, love to get to know you a little bit better, and share with you some more about this trading stuff. Remember, this is all very time sensitive. We have setups that we may not see for another 2 years, and so we want to take advantage. We have got to, as I say, make hay while the sun shines, and the sun is shining real bright right now. So let's be ready for that, guys. Thanks for being on with us. Thanks for sharing an hour with me this evening or this morning or wherever you are. Happy to have you guys, and thanks for the information and sharing and all of that stuff. You guys are awesome. Thanks, everyone. Take care. I hope to get a phone call scheduled with you very soon. And let's take advantage of some of these setups that are going to come and go very quickly. These are going to be magical trades. So don't miss out, guys. Get set up there. Let's have a chat. We'll take it from there. Thanks, everybody. Best of luck. Best wishes. Take care. We'll see you soon.